Good evening, friends. I uh, I decided yesterday, maybe earlier today, that I needed to restart my online practice as my way of sharing the Dharma with friends and with the world. Um, so I'm doing so, live streaming it on Facebook, on YouTube, in hopes that maybe one day um, somebody will stumble across it and might a little bit better, gain a better grasp of the Dharma, and uh, and that's my goal. There's no other goal involved. Um, just a chance to share my thoughts on the Dharma. Sometimes we'll meditate a little bit. Maybe we'll meditate for 5 or 10 minutes tonight. That's all. Um, but I'd like to just share a message every night, and I'm going to try to do that. It won't necessarily be long. Um, every night I've been chanting for my little niece Lily, who passed away a little over a week ago. And so in our Zen tradition, um, we chant to Jijang Bosal, or to the Bodhisattva Kshitigarbha, for the first 49 days after someone passes away. So I've been doing that for my niece, and we'll do that again tonight together. So I hope you'll bear with me a little bit on that. But before I begin, I'll first pay homage to the Buddha, and then a recitation of the Bodhicitta prayer. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Thank you. Now, if I can get my Zoom recording here to work right, I'm going to share my screen. It looks like I got it figured out. I'm still a novice at this since the last time I did this regularly. But I would like to begin every one of my practice sessions with the Bodhicitta prayer. As a Bodhisattva monk and Zen priest, the Bodhisattva ideal is the highest ideal that we can follow. And I wish to share this. It has the 3 refuges in it, as well as our intent of saving all sentient beings. So, the Bodhicitta prayer. With a wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Enthused by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind for full awakening, for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then, may I too remain and dispel the miseries of the world. Thank you for joining with me in that, if you followed along. Now I want to tell a little story. There's a story from the Pali Canon about a little girl named Kisa Gotami. It's very emotional to me, the story of Kisa Gotami. Maybe because my sister recently lost her child. But I love this story, and it is the heart of the Buddha's teachings. I had a dear monk friend tell me once, Bhante Kemananda, he told me, he said, of all the teachings of the Buddha, of the 4 noble truths, the first one is the most profound. because it's the one that all the rest of them stem from. And that is the truth of suffering, of dukkha. There is suffering in the world. We all see it. We all feel it. We all experience it. And the Buddha's whole mission, Sakyamuni's Buddha's whole mission, was to teach people how to liberate themselves from suffering. And that bodhicitta prayer that I just recited was about saving all sentient beings. Saving them from what? Saving them from suffering. All of the Buddha's teachings. When we get to the Noble Eightfold Path, the way the Buddha teaches us to rid ourselves of suffering, it's all about stopping suffering. How to live your life so you can stop suffering. So here's the story of Kisa Gotami. Translated into English, it would be Skinny Gotami. Gotami being the feminine form of Gotama, or the family, the clan that Sakyamuni Buddha came from. So she was clearly a cousin or a kinswoman, kinsperson of the Buddha. The story goes like this. The story says that about a year after the Buddha attained his enlightenment, under the Bodhi tree, he finally was able to come back to his hometown and visit his family and his parents, his wife, his son. And remember, this is the first time he's been home in 7 years or so. But he came home as the enlightened one. And everyone knew, they could see, they knew that he was different, that he was enlightened. He was radiating such beauty and such power and such eminence. Well, there happened to be a young lady in the village whose child, her only child, had passed away. And she was distraught. And this woman, her name was Kisa Gotami, little skinny Gotami. She was distraught and she was just almost insane. She was so sad about her only child having passed away. And she asked around town, somebody help me. Can you help me? My child is dead. Can you help me? Can you help me bring him back to life? Do you have any medicine? Do you have what? And everybody said, no, Kisa, he's dead. Well, there's nothing we can do. And she was just, people could just see how extremely upset she was and frantic, pulling her hair out type of insanely sad and grieving. So she went all around town crying and begging, and nobody could help her. And one person said, well, you know, the sage of the Sakyans, the world honored one, the Buddha, is now in town. Go visit him. If anyone can bring your child to life, he can. So she went. She took her dead baby in her arms. She went to visit the Buddha and begged him, prostrated herself on the ground, begging him, please, please, Holy One, bring my child back to life. He's my only child, the only thing I have in this world. And the Buddha said, paraphrasing, of course, you know, Gotami, this is not something I normally do. I tell you what, if you go and bring one small cup of mustard seed from every family in the village, every house you come across, ask them to borrow a small cup of mustard seed. and you bring that back to me, I can raise your son. But there's only one exception. You have to get the mustard seed from a house who's never had someone pass away. Saddened and distraught, she took off on her journey, knocking on all of her neighbors' doors. Please, please, can I borrow a cup of mustard seed? And it was a common spice at the time in northern India, and it was very inexpensive. And so people are like, yeah, of course you can, you don't have to borrow. I'll give it to you. And she says, okay, well, has anyone died in your house before? And the owner of the house, the lady of the house, she said, well, of course, my mother passed away last year. And 3 years ago, my father passed away. And Kisa said, stop. I can't take it from you. I can only take it from someone who's never had someone pass away in their house. So she went to the next house. Same story. Oh, yeah, I had a child die 4 or 5 years ago. My grandmother died in my house, whatever. She went to every house in the village, and every house freely offered her the mustard seed. But all of them had someone who had died. Every family had someone who had died. And Kisa began her slow walk back to the Buddha. She stopped along the way and buried her child. And she got back to the Buddha, and the Buddha said, so did you bring the cup of mustard seed? She bowed to the master and said, Master, thank you for your teaching. You have indeed wrought a miracle. For Kisa had realized the true nature of life, that life is suffering. And she had learned the very hard way the First Noble Truth. And she thanked the Buddha for teaching her. Kisa later became a nun. When the Buddha started to allow women to enter into the order, she became a nun and eventually became a fully enlightened one, an arhat. For she had learned the truth of the Four Noble Truths. She learned it the hard way from experience, but she saw the truth of the Buddha's teachings. We all face that. We're all born, we all die. Everyone we've ever loved will die. There's no question about it. So it's what we learn from it. It's how we learn to rid ourselves of the suffering. That's the mission of the Buddha. That's the mission of a bodhisattva, to teach people how to alleviate suffering. And so, as I chant tonight to the Bodhisattva Kshitigarbha, in Korean it's Jijang Bosal, I chant not because I suffer because my niece passed away. I chant so that she will not suffer in her next life, that she will have a wonderful life. She suffered in this life enough. So now I chant for her that she will be reborn and have a wonderful life in her life to come. So with that, I chant to Jijang Bosal for my niece Lily. 지장보서 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 지장보서. So in our tradition, we chant these things 108 times. And this is my mala of 108 beads. So we go through those. And we wish our loved ones or those whom we are chanting for a safe and speedy passage through the bardo. through that transition phase between this life and their next. Uh, and so I wish to my little niece Lily um, safe passage through the Bardo, and may you have a wonderful, beautiful life to come. So I'm really grateful that you all decided to even listen for just a few moments tonight. I appreciate it very much. We will sit for just a few minutes just to be aware of our breath. And I invite you to sit with me. We will not do it for long. Not a good 30-minute sit or anything like that tonight. We'll just do a short, maybe 5-minute sit. Follow your breath. And by following our breath, we know that we are always present. Our breath is always with us. So again, I invite you to follow your breath. As you breathe in, feel the coolness in your nostrils. As you breathe out, feel the warmth as it leaves your body. When you're in breath, ask yourself, what is this? On your out breath, the simple phrase, don't know. What is this? Don't know. Follow the don't know mind. What is this? Don't know. as we end our short meditation, always remember your breath is constant. Whenever you need a break, you can follow your breath. Become aware of your surroundings by being aware of your breathing. And know that you are one with all. So finally, I would like for us to be able to end our practice as I used to do quite regularly with the four great vows. And so if I can bring this up for us real quickly. We can recite the four great vows. Sentient beings are numberless. We vow to save them all. Delusions are endless. We vow to cut through them all. The teachings are infinite. We vow to learn them all. The Buddha way is inconceivable. We vow to attain it. Thank you, my friends, and I will see you again tomorrow. Good night and be well.